Okay, so continuing our discussion regarding the other guidelines in writing the definition of terms, we are now trying to narrow down what are the key terms, okay, what are the key terms that must be defined in our definition of terms. And we have already identified three, and those are the independent variable, the dependent variable, and the measurable variables. Now, let us try to, let's say, enumerate other examples or other terms that must be defined in your definition of terms. So we have here this example. Okay, so we have here three bacteria. So note class, the operational definition. So we have here Escherichia coli, we have Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Staphylococcus aureus. So we have here our three, let's say, species of bacteria, different species of bacteria. So try to take notice, class, of our operational definition. So we have here in our operational definition, it is stated that these three bacteria are used as an experimental unit in our study. Okay, for the study. Therefore, class, okay, what can you, let's say, deduce from this example? Okay, it only means that in writing the definition of terms, you must also include the definitions of your experimental units. Okay? But remember, class, okay, remember that there are times that our experimental units are also our dependent variable. Okay? So, if you have other experimental units other than your dependent variable, you must also, let's say, include them in your definition of terms. Okay? So, do not worry if you have already defined your dependent variable as your experimental unit. Okay? But if you have a different experimental unit other than your dependent variable, then you must include its definition. Okay? So, that is our fourth term to be, let's say, elaborated in your definition of terms. Next. Okay, so we have here this example. So we have antibacterial agent and antifungal agent. Okay, so antibacterial agent and antifungal agent are actually crucial terms that define our independent variable. Okay? And it is actually mentioned several times in our research paper. Okay? So, meaning to say, class, how can you, let's say, classify antibacterial agent and antifungal agent based from our first lesson? Okay, so these are the products of the study. Okay? And the products of the study are actually based from what? It is based from the attenuation process. Okay, the attenuation process of what? Of the independent variable. And where can we find these terms? Okay, so these terms, the attenuation process, is actually found in our research title. So meaning to say, class, we must also define the other important terms that are crucial for the study and those terms that can be found in our research title. Okay? So you must identify the crucial terms, okay, the crucial terms that are repeated several times in your research paper but are considered to be technical. Whenever we say technical, it is not easily understood. Okay, so you must define those repeated technical terms in your paper as well as the important terms found in your research title. Okay, so that is our, let's say, other guideline in identifying what terms must be, let's say, described or defined in our definition of terms. Okay, next. So we have here an example, distillation. Okay, we have a distillation and we also have fermentation. Okay, so what can you notice about these two terms or these two genus? Okay, so class, distillation and fermentation are actually part of our chapter 3. And what is our chapter 3? Okay, it is our methodology. Methodology. Okay, so meaning to say, class, okay, if these terms are part of the methodology, how can you classify them? Okay, so they are known as processes. Okay, so processes are those, let's say, actions or activities found in the methodology. Okay, and these processes are considered to be very scientific in nature. And if the processes or the terms related to these processes are scientific, they are considered to be technical. Okay, and whenever we say technical, it is not understood by many. Not understood by many. So, meaning to say, there is a need for us to define such technical processes in our paper so that it can be understood by regular readers. Okay? And that will be our seventh guideline. You must also define the highly technical processes involved in your study. Okay? So those are the terms that shall be discussed in the definition of terms. So let's try to recap those. We have the independent variable, the dependent variable, we have the measurable variable, the experimental unit, we have the important terms found in our title, the technical terms, and also we have the technical processes. Okay? So those are the, let's say, terms that must be highlighted in your definition of terms of your research paper. Okay? So for our last video presentation, we will now be proceeding to the format guidelines. Okay? We will now be proceeding on how to format your definition of terms.